I, 22 female, come from a family that always called me ungrateful. Not because I was, but because I was always a loudmouth and pointed out odd things when I noticed them. Like how every Christmas, birthday, etc., my siblings would get gifts like the toys they always wanted, new clothes, and all I got was either a card or a promise to buy me anything when we went out. Spoiler never happened. Naturally, this messed me up badly. I was always trying to change to please my parents. I tried being quiet and not needing their help. But by that point, I was already the family's black sheep, the one my mom would call out during big family events, disguising it as jokes, the difficult one. Long story short, I got a part-time job at 16, then worked my butt off, and I finally landed a pretty decent corporate job last year. It's not exactly life-changing money, but it's enough for me to have moved out. And now I live in a shared apartment with 2 other girls. I save up, of course, but I live comfortably enough to make small trips and take nice pictures at some restaurants. I've never blocked my family, but I also don't engage with them. So it came as a surprise when my mom called me 2 weeks ago to check on me. According to her, she asked questions like how's work and how my post always made me think of when I was a little girl and smiled a lot. Crappy emotional tactics that I grew up with. LOL. She started mentioning how nice it was to be so young, make money, and not have that many responsibilities or expenses. I corrected her that I had rent and needed to buy groceries. She dismissed those, and then the topic steered to my younger brother. He got a few acceptance letters and apparently, he threw a tantrum about needing to attend one where all his friends are going. Yes. It's like too expensive. I searched it and holy crap. So my mom started mentioning my brother and me growing up and how we used to be so close. Honestly, that day, I was exhausted. So I told my mom it was nice hearing from her and that I was happy for my brother, but that I wasn't in a place to help with his tuition. This woman was actually stunned. She said I could think about it because family is family and all that stuff. We said our goodbyes and I slept thinking about it. So I woke up the next day and drafted a message that was polite but clear about how I was never treated fairly and how I was not bitter, but I wasn't in a financial spot to help with those expenses. Yeah. The guilt tripping started immediately, messages, not even kidding, 14 missed calls from my mom, even my dad called, and he's a pretty stoic man. My brother started whining on social media about ungrateful family members and how some people are bitter and end up alone. I feel like I'm in the right, but honestly, my parents have involved aunts, cousins, family friends, and all the texts and posts are starting to get to me a little bit. I may be too harsh. My brother has always been spoiled, but it's not like he kicked me out or made me feel worse. Still, I don't feel like giving up my lifestyle to help someone who called me a bitter witch on his latest Instagram rant, so I need help. Am I the idiot? Stop being the rug they wipe their feet on and get on with your life. You know your worth. Don't let them gaslight you like that. Be brave and put yourself through college first and ask your parents for money for you. I bet you won't get a dime from family. He is not your child. Do not be the doormat any longer. Tell your relatives to fund his college needs since we are family. Mute them all. Just because they're texting and calling doesn't mean you need to accept their calls. Yeah. Where was this energy all the years you were treated like toilet paper stuck to their shoe? Where was the family messaging your parents that you were family and deserve better? What did they say about Christmas? Where were their gifts to make up for your crappy parents? Remember, OP, you don't actually have to engage. Just mute them and let them vent their bile into the silence. Stop letting people who demonstrably don't care about you into your life. OP has already helped her parents and brother. They should have saved lots by never getting her anything. These aunts, cousins, and family friends are obviously wonderful people who will be so happy to pull their resources and jointly pay for your brother's tuition. Right. Toxic narcissism is not gonna get better. The idea of helping pay for a sibling's tuition seems crazy to me. If you cannot get loans or a part-time job, then you don't have to get to college. It's that simple. College in the US is a luxury. I, 34 female, have a twin daughter. I've been a single mom since her dad and I separated. He cheated, got someone else pregnant, and that relationship didn't last either. So now he's a single dad to a preteen boy. My daughter visits him every other weekend, and sometimes her half-brother comes to my house too. They get along okay, and I've never had an issue with that. Recently, I planned a special camping trip just for me and my daughter. We've talked about it for a while, and I saved up for it as a reward for her doing great in school this year. Well, apparently, she told her half-brother about the trip. A few days later, her dad called me and asked if I was driving or if he should take the kids up there. I was initially confused, but then I realized he thought both kids were going. He got upset when I explained it was just something for me and my daughter. He said I was playing favorites and punishing his son for his past mistakes. He said I should have invited both kids. I told him I wouldn't cover cost for another child, and if his son wanted to go, he'd have to pay for everything himself. I ended the call after that. Now my daughter says her dad is disappointed. Now I should think about letting her brother come so he doesn't feel left out. A few friends are also saying I'm being selfish, but this trip is something I planned for me and my daughter, and I don't feel like I should be guilted into changing that. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Why doesn't the father go on a trip with the boy as a father-son thing while you and your daughter do your thing? He's just a lazy idiot trying to put responsibilities onto you for a kid that isn't even yours. This trip is a reward for your daughter, not a family event. You're not obligated to include your ex's child or cover extra costs. It's not about favoritism. It's about boundaries, and he should get that, to be honest. Please don't be so hard on yourself. I recommend you nip your ex's expectations and stop having his son over when your daughter is visiting. They can spend time together at her dad's house. This is your visitation time with her. Both children get to feel special by spending one-on-one time with their parent. Why in the world would you need to spend any time with his affair child? If your daughter is asking, I can guarantee it's only because her dad is putting words in her mouth. Exactly. The boy is not your child. Whilst he is your daughter's brother, he's not yours. He's acting like the two of you are still a couple raising a blended family, at least in his own mind. Maybe it's time to draw a firm boundary with him regarding his son coming to your place. From now on, he only goes on outings where you meet them and he stays engaged with his kid. Then he can let go of this idea that he can leave his kid with you and wander off doing other things. I work with a woman, Jenna, for several years and consider her a friend. We both left the company, but stay in touch in a complaint about our job group chat with another friend, Katie. Jenna recently became pregnant after suffering multiple losses and failed rounds of IVF. Having been there through all of this, Katie and I are obviously stoked for her. Months ago, Jenna asked for our addresses so that she could invite us to her baby shower. Katie mentioned that she'd love to help if they needed anything. I didn't make that offer, but said I look forward to going. A short time later, Katie and I got invited to a group chat with dozens of others. The majority of whom are unknown numbers, and they were planning Jenna's baby shower. I was confused, and I remember texting Katie then and saying that I just wanted to go and had no intention of hosting. Because I'm awkward, I decided not to say anything in hopes that it would be obvious I didn't want to participate. People started volunteering to purchase or provide things. The guest list included 150 people. Providing food or decorations for a party of that size was just not something I was able to help with, so I remained quiet. At this point, the lady who organized the hostess group chat, Marcia, texted Katie and me separately asking if we can bring any last-minute items of the day of the shower since we didn't sign up for anything. I replied that I would try if I was able. Over time, frequent updates to the hostess chat became overwhelming. Marcia informed us at one point that she would add up everything and let us know how much we all owed. Apparently, part of hosting included paying a portion of the total cost of the party. I was flabbergasted by this. Regardless, I expected the share cost to be small, so I still haven't said anything. Katie and I muted the group in the last few weeks because it was just getting too much. Tonight, Marcia texted Katie, me, and 13 others in yet another group chat, letting us know how much we owe. Between the hostess gift, not even sure what it was, but it was $465, stamps, labels, invitations, specialty cookies, paper products, and flowers, the total was almost $1,300 split between 25 hostesses. She advised everyone to bring $50 cash to the party to pay her back. I'm shocked. Katie and I already split the cost of a gift that I think Jenna will appreciate and use. Marcia also texted me about a week ago asking me to help at the party by writing down the names of people and the gifts they bring. I was happy to help with that. Now though, I almost feel too awkward to go. I realized I should have said I didn't want to help from the beginning, but I honestly didn't know that it would be this involved. I honestly doubt Jenna would expect this much from us. She isn't included in any of the shower-related group chats. Am I an idiot if I decline to pay the $50 and just go to the party to support my friend? Everyone's the idiot here. She sucks for assuming that everyone was cool with contributing, but you desperately need to learn how to communicate and stand up for yourself. You had weeks to private message her and be like, we're actually doing our own thing gift-wise, so we won't be contributing. It was that simple. I don't know where you are, but in some places, it's typical for the people who throw the baby shower to pay for it. It's a gesture to get the expected mother gifts to start them off in a good position, like how wedding gifts used to be to start new couples off on their life together. It's gotten out of hand for sure, but that from my understanding is the point of a baby shower, which is what this sounds like. 50 people for a baby shower is more than I'll have for my wedding. Is that 150 people that pay $50, so $7,500 total? What is Jenna having? A small army of babies. Octuplets. And why the heck does a woman's baby shower need 25 hostesses anyway? Ma, is she the Queen of Sheba or something? In a group of that many people, it's normal for silence to mean yes. People will usually lay out the plan and then say, let me know if there are any issues, because getting that many people to respond in agreement can take forever. You are the idiot. Marcia was under the assumption that you were happy and agreeable about everything because you never gave any indication you weren't. Social anxiety is not an excuse. You had months to say anything, and you could have just done it by text, for crying out loud. Nope. Sorry. Just getting a non-response in a massive group chat is not an agreement to pay. Half of the time, people don't even pay attention to those. If you want money from somebody, you need an actual affirmation. Even a thumbs-up reaction would be okay, but you need something. The way group chats go is that people might look away for a day, and there are 100 new messages and people don't scroll through. Update. I returned our gift and paid the $50. I had a nice time and the work wasn't excessive. All the hostesses took turns doing whatever assigned task. A huge shower like that is not a thing I'd ever do, but this thread helped me see some other perspectives. So I do appreciate everyone's thoughtful responses. My anxiety is being treated, but I still have things to work on, obviously. Thanks to those who suggested that needed to be addressed. Lesson learned. I will definitely speak up next time I'm not able or willing to contribute to a huge undertaking like this in the future. I, 35 male, am married to my amazing wife, 36. We have 2 young kids together, soon to be 3, and we've recently laid down a firm boundary with her mother, 62, and some extended family think we've gone too far. Let me give some background to the story. My wife had a really rough childhood. When she was about 13, she caught her mom having an affair. Being a kid and still believing in trust and family, she confronted her mom. Instead of dealing with the situation maturely, her mom freaked out. When her affair partner, now her current husband, found out my wife knew, he gave her mom an ultimatum. Him or her daughter. She chose him. Let that sink in. My wife was kicked out of her home. She bounced through foster care and eventually ended up living with her dad. It completely shattered her. She's been in therapy for years trying to work through it. There's a lot more emotional and verbal abuse in the background as well, including being told by her mom, I wish I didn't have kids when we were out to dinner. These moments really defined her trauma. Fast forward to now, my wife and I are in a healthy place raising our kids with all the love and stability we can give them. Naturally, she has zero relationship with her mother. That's her choice, and I support it 100%. But recently, her mother tried to reconnect, insisting she had a right to be in our children's lives and wanting to be called grandma. We both said no. Not only do we not want her toxic behavior near our children, but my wife has said it's incredibly painful for her to hear her own kids call the woman who abandoned and emotionally abused her grandma. We told her she couldn't have a relationship with them and they wouldn't be calling her anything because she wouldn't be around them at all. Cue the drama. Now we're hearing from some extended relatives and friends of her mom that we're being cruel and that children deserve to know their grandparents. A few have said things like, it was a long time ago. People change. Or you're punishing her forever for one mistake. This isn't just about one mistake. It's about years of abuse, betrayal, and abandonment. My wife has no trust in her mother. Why should our kids be forced to have a relationship with someone who treated their mom like trash? We're trying to break a cycle here. We want better for our kids. But I'll admit, I'm starting to wonder if we're being too harsh. So am I the idiot? Easy, not the idiot. Go full no contact. Cut off any relatives who support her. These people are horrid. Block them all. They think your wife's mother was justified and that your wife turned out fine. What's the problem? Point out, you're right. My wife should not only forgive her mother, but thank her for getting the heck out of my wife's life. It would be rude of us to throw that gift back in her face. So we're just gonna stay out of her life. You aren't being harsh enough. Tell the relatives and friends to go screw themselves. They don't get to tell a trauma victim to just forget about it because it makes an abuser feel better. Grandma can write in the heck she created. I would make sure you identify any potential flying monkeys and let the birth giver know that she will never be grandma. And, yes, you do deserve to be punished for life for making a mistake when that mistake was choosing a man over your young 13-year-old daughter and then telling her that you wish she was never born. Tell her to kick rocks. For some context, I, 22 female, live with my aunt and uncle who basically raised me. They got me a golden retriever named Max when I was 16. Max is super friendly and well-trained, and we're very close. I take him to the dog park every day after work. Last weekend, I took Max to a new park across town. While he was playing fetch, I sat on a bench nearby. Out of nowhere, this older guy came up and asked why I was playing with his dog. I laughed thinking it was a joke, but he was serious. He said Max looked just like the dog stolen from him a few months ago and started accusing me of stealing him. I told him Max was mine, but he wouldn't listen. He kept saying I needed to show proof or give the dog back. I told him to leave us alone and walked away, but he followed me and called the park ranger over. When the ranger showed up, I calmly explained everything. I had Max's ID tag and vet records on my phone, and I even showed pictures of us together over the years. I even had an old video of puppy Max chewing on my homework. The ranger told the guy to back off and apologize to me. As I was leaving, the guy yelled that I was a jerk for not showing him proof immediately. I told him I didn't owe him anything, especially not when he came at me with wild accusations. So am I the idiot for not proving the dog was mine sooner? Not the idiot. Wow. A golden retriever that looks like another golden retriever. You had no responsibility to prove anything to him in that moment. If anything, an older man aggressively approaching a young female is very intimidating, and you had every right to remove yourself. Too bad, Golden is notoriously friendly. No chance of Max taking a chunk out of this dude's butt while protecting you. Realistically, this guy could have been stealing dogs. Agreed. If the dog was really his, the dog would have remembered him, especially if he was stolen merely months ago. Never show a random man anything with your name, address, phone number, or any other identifying information. It gives them a way to track you down. You are absolutely within your rights to refuse to engage with the jerk. I'd have told him to pound Sam as well, and I would have possibly called 911 to say a jerk was accosting you, and you were in fear for your safety in his earshot. You owed him nothing.